Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jonathan Brown, or JB, as people call me. I am so glad, so honored to welcome you all to Networking Best Practices for Aspiring and Young Professionals. Um, we are working together. My good friend, colleague, and relative, Desiree Dexter Brown, here today. And this is the pilot program of what we're calling the Coaching in Laws, a little hope for podcast, maybe monthly by monthly place where we can get together, talk about our different areas and what we do. We are so glad that you're here joining us today, and whether you're listening as a recording or if you're joining us in our Zoom call. We couldn't be happier. We're doing a little talking before right now. Most of our friends in the audience today are from SoCal area. And I just will mention that we are West Coast representing because whereas Desiree is definitely SoCal, I am from the Pacific Northwest, broadcasting live from Seattle, Washington. So
Woohoo!
very delighted to be here. So Desiree, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How are you involved with this Coaching in Laws production today?
Okay. Well, I have been in recruiting. I've worked in recruiting for over 30 years, and it has been amazing. And I've never seen a job market like it is today. So, John and I thought that we could get together and start helping these young adults with their careers and information. And so that's what we're doing. And we're hoping that we can share a lot of good information. And tonight we're talking about networking because I feel that in this job market where companies are getting hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants, that how do you stand out? So the way to stand out in this market is to be reaching out and having authentic,
Oh,
building authentic relationships. Yeah, so that's why we thought we could do this. And John and I both have a lot of information that we can share
yeah.
at
We've been at it for
doing.
a while.
Yes,
Um,
we've been at it for a long, long time.
we
And
we we determined recently that we between us we have over half a century of experience doing this kind of coaching. So my background is a little bit different than Desiree's, although we both have a practice that focuses around coaching um, new and aspiring people transitioning. My background is in education. I do my full-time job as an IEC, an independent educational consultant, so helping people. Find academic success mostly in college, sometimes in high school, and then I also do college search support and college essays and at all levels, from doctoral degrees all the way down to people trying to get into their local high school and have to navigate those application process, right? Um, so really, I'm all about my work as an educator has been really focused on developing people. My master's degree is in student development, so the whole study of thinking how students grow and learn when they're kind of put in situations where they're both challenged and supported, right? And I think it's so critical right now. There's so much going on in the world, and things are so complex, and the job market is changing faster than I've ever seen it in my 56 years of being alive. That I think somehow, if we can start building some community of support around this issue, I just think it's going to do some good in the world. So I think that's really, Desiree and I are full-time professionals doing this work, but for our coaching and laws program, I think we're really just trying to give back. So
Mhm.
that's what we're here. So
Share what we know.
share what we know, right? It's
Yeah.
not rocket science, right? So
Oh,
our
but it is ever changing. Yeah.
exactly. The format of today is really not to provide a lecture, but to provide a dialogue. We're hoping to spend most of our time answering questions and discussing real world situations. I do have a couple of questions that were sent to me by people who were not able to come today. So I can surface those if we run out. But yeah, so if you are listening and you want to, type something into the chat and mention it, or unmute when we're getting going. We just have a couple of comments to kind of set the tone. But we need your questions, right? We want to keep our
Yes,
presentation
input.
driven on the dialogue. So to start with that, we thought it would be great and maybe this may be something that a lot of the people who are listening to this video probably know, but I think it's important that you all know that we know, right? I don't think that Desiree and I are old people who think that getting a job is just like it was in the 1980s or the 1990s. It's a very different environment, and I think a lot of people who are our age, right? We are probably yeah, I mean I have a son who is 25 years old, right? So very much in the market as a new professional. And what I have realized is that there's a lot of parents, colleagues and parents who have some very, very distorted ideas of how you go about getting a job in this market and how do you network effectively because their knowledge is thinking about their first job, right?
Hmm.
Um, when you're coaching
Completely
people,
different.
it's very different, right? So,
Yeah. And
so we
especially after COVID, that really changed a lot of things.
totally. And in fact, we were just talking before this started, like even this format of doing most of our work in these virtual meetings is just an incredible opportunity that we have to remember that's available for so many people, right?
Mhm.
So we thought it would be good for us to start with a little bit of myth busting. We have identified four myths that we think would be good for you to know if you don't know, and for you to know that we know. So let's start. Desiree, do you want to tackle myth number one?
Yes. So most people think that networking is about asking people for jobs. And really, what it is it's building relationships because I know a lot of people that I talk to in my coaching, they are reaching out and asking for, oh, do you have a job? Or, oh, can I get an interview? Or, really starting with the job piece. And really, what you want to do is start building the relationship. Get curious about the person you're reaching out to and ask about them. So it would be something like, hello, my name is so and so, and I am interested in this industry or this company or whatever it is that they're doing and they're working or this type of job. Whatever it is, like make it personal and start asking questions and building a relationship with that person specifically. But networking is really where it's all about because 80% of people are still getting jobs through networking right now. And so that is a super important piece to be able to reach out to people and set yourself above the rest because most people don't do that.
Yeah.
I call it they just spray and pray,
Yeah.
right? So
So
they're sending
true. So
their
true.
email. I mean, they're sending their resume out through all these different websites
Yeah.
and then they don't hear anything back. And it's like, oh my gosh, because it isn't happening.
Yeah.
They're being kicked out of the system.
Like not
Uh,
even getting a look. A look.
Not even getting a look. Only
Yeah.
about 5% even
Yeah.
get through. And even then, AI it's just terrible. And
Yeah.
the recruiters are upset, the companies are upset. It's not working for anyone
Hmm.
in the hiring process right now.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky. So the only way to get through is to reach out.
Yeah. It's funny. It made me remember I spent 25 years as a hiring manager for young and new employees. And over
Hmm.
those 25 years, I think the biggest difference it was how I approached sending out job announcements, right? When I first
Hmm.
started, there was like a statewide system that my college used to announce job openings. And then we posted in like, forums and papers and, all of these places where people would go and job search. Now it's all done online. And as that started happening, as a hiring manager, to now think about this, Desiree, as a hiring manager, I stopped just thinking, oh, like, what kind of duties do I have for this job? And I started thinking, I want Desiree Brown to have this job. I'm going to write this. She's in my network. I know her. I'm going to
Mhm.
I'm starting to write my job description because if I can get Desiree, that would be awesome. But only someone who's like her is going to be qualified for this. So as hiring managers, we're really thinking about our network,
Yeah,
and that leaves you out in the cold if you don't have any relationships. So those relationships
absolutely.
are so, so important. All right, myth
Yes.
number two. I think a lot of students that we work with when we're first starting up, and especially students that have not had a lot of experience with networking, maybe when they were a student, they tried to get a research experience or an internship and it didn't work out, so they worked at a coffee shop or just something to help out, and then they get done with that and they say, "Oh, well, I don't know anyone." Right? That's a myth. You don't know anyone. I'm sure have heard of the 7 degrees of separation, right? Or the 7 degrees of Kevin
Six,
Bacon,
six
right?
degrees, I think.
6 degrees, six
But I
degrees.
think it's actually more like four.
It really is.
Yeah,
People who
it's
know
closer
people.
than we think.
Yeah. So I really would say that, any relationship, especially if you have close relationships, parents, aunts and uncles, neighbors, old teachers, professors, these are people who have invested time in you with you are more than happy to talk with you and open up their network to them, right? And it's really cool. I mean, this day, I mean, Desiree and I can be pretty, doom and gloom about this, but it's pretty cool to be in a place with LinkedIn with where you can actually see someone's network, right? Someone could open that door for you and you can start
Exactly.
looking through and saying, "Hey, which of these people would be helpful for me?" and get direct uh, invites to or referrals from people who are in your network who you do know. So everyone, I guess the answer to the myth is that everybody knows someone, right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
if you don't, then you need to start reaching out in a really authentic way, right? But most people know quite a few people. And I think a lot of the young adults, reaching out to your friends' parents,
Hmm.
you know them,
Yeah.
right? You maybe went to school with them, you've been at their house. So those can be, professionals, anyone on LinkedIn that
Totally.
that you might know. But it kind of takes a minute sometimes to think about, well, who do I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, and then you just search their name and they come up.
Yeah, people are really
So,
savvy about this, and I think it gets
yeah,
easier with practice, right? Like
absolutely.
I had a
Hard to know
person,
what to say.
I had a student who I used to work with. I was on his portfolio committee for his master's degree, right? And he stopped. He dropped out of being in education to become a full-time magician. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And just this week, he contacted me and was like, "Jonathan, I know you used to work for this huge college system, and I know you're doing private stuff now, but do you still know people? Because I would love to be on the college circuit and do this." And I had like 4 or 5 people to link him into a network, statewide network of
Mhm.
schools that might hire him or engage with him in this role as a magician. I was so happy to do it, right? So
That's awesome.
random, right? So, I'm just an educator, but now I'm like promoting magicians, right? So just know that, especially when if we've gained a place in life where we have some expertise and have connections, we're happy to use them, right? We really are happy to share that information. All right, that was a good myth.
Absolutely.
Good myth. Good myth. Okay, here's a huge myth, and I think this is true, and I'll share a little bit of a secret with you. That networking is oh wait, I did this. You're supposed to do this one. Sorry.
Am I doing this one? Okay.
Unless you want me to, and then you can do the next one.
It doesn't matter.
Since
Um,
oh, go,
you
go.
go ahead because you started.
I'll just go. The next one that we had is that networking is only for extroverts. People who like doing networking is for people who like networking. And that is not true at all, right? Networking is for everyone, and especially in this environment. And good networking is about curiosity and it's about listening. And it's like Des was saying, it's about building authentic relationships. We, as human beings, we thrive in community. We thrive when we have connections with other people, and we can't undervalue that. I mean, when you go to another human being with a need or a question, Um, Not everyone's going to answer you, but a lot of people will, right?
People
And
want to help,
people want to
deep
help.
down.
Yeah. So, and I will say too, here we are talking about networking, and if you to look at our LinkedIn's, I'm sure we have over 5,000, 500. I have over 500 people. Desiree probably has triple that because of what you do,
I've got a lot.
right? Um, and that whole network is built from two people who are I mean, I don't know about Desiree. I'm a self-proclaimed introvert, right? I might not, my introvert side might be not be coming out right now because when I have a role, I can step into my role. But in terms of like on my day to day or what I'm doing on the weekend, very introverted, Jonathan Brown, you know? So just know it can be done, right? And it's when we say, "Oh, this is just for extroverts," it's like we're setting the table for someone else's success and not our own,
Hmm.
right? So claiming your own access to this process, I think, is really important. So don't buy into that myth. Bring us home, Desiree. Bring us home.
Excuse me. So, myth number 4, I should only network when I need something. The reality about that is that you want to be networking all the time and absolutely before you need something. So, starting to reach out as early as you can, as soon as you know people, connect with them and really reaching out just to start a conversation and learn more about them, asking questions. People love to be asked about themselves because they like to talk about themselves. So, asking questions about all the things can be super, super helpful. And you really want to just kind of keep that going in your life. Um, I also coach executives, and I've met with several recently who didn't keep up their LinkedIn profile and they didn't keep up their networking and now they feel very, very disconnected. They've been working so hard, but now they're laid off. And it's hard if you haven't been consistent with really talking to people. And so that's something that you just always want to do. And even as an introvert, just keeping that going, keeping the networking going, having you could even have like a half-hour coffee chat over Zoom.
Yeah,
I do this all the time. I'll
totally.
do like a coffee chat or a wine chat, and just meet with people because we're all too busy to do it in person, I feel. It's a lot of everyone's super busy. And when you're reaching out too, it could be anywhere in the country,
Yeah.
over Zoom, because it might be, gosh, I'm interested in a job in this state. I'm really curious about this. I'd love to learn more about this role and your role and what you're doing. And do you have 15 minutes to hop on a chat,
Yeah.
with me to do that?
Yeah. And
Um,
keeping it simple and easy for them, I think is so important, right? Like
yes,
they're
simple
doing
and
they're
easy.
doing you a favor, right? Desiree and I had a student that we were working with a few weeks ago, and the student outreached to us and showed us what they were requesting of some of the people they were cold calling. And they were like, I'd like to meet you for an hour on this day and this time. And it
Yeah.
was very much like it didn't land well, right? It's they're doing you a favor. I think the person who's flexible, making it, relevant, making it quick, relatively quick, so that you can build upon it, right? Yeah,
Yeah, so it's more like a 15-minute,
yeah,
chat, coffee chat. When are you available? And
yeah,
sometimes people might want to do that before work,
yeah,
early in the morning before they get started.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I do
so
I do most of my informational interviewing in the evenings after my duties are done, right?
mm,
Like done with working, done with dinner, done with it's
yeah.
when it's my time. Then I bring, especially if there's a connection there, a parent's kid that I'm working with, or
Hmm.
someone who reached out because they saw my profile and wanted to ask me a couple questions. Yeah,
That's a good point. Keeping it open to an evening after work, I
yeah,
think could be a good way, especially for busy people if you're trying to get on their calendar, for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, think about the average full-time worker, right?
Yeah, it's
Especially with
super
AI.
busy.
I have friends who work at Amazon, and you probably do too, Des. Um,
Hmm.
they at every 6 months interval, it's like they're saying now that you have AI, you could be more productive. You need to do your KPIs 25% more effective in 6 months, or you're out. It's like right? So
Yeah,
people are busy at work. It's not like we
yeah,
have a
they're
lot of
busy.
time to,
They're
you know,
stressed.
sit and chat. But really, I do think networking, it's a constant networking. What I've it's related kind of, but one thing that I'm a big fan of when I think of constant networking is like I have since I was 20 years old, Desiree, and I'm sure you're like this too. I always have an updated resume. If someone said, "Hey, I'd like to see your resume," I don't
Yeah,
need like 3 days to get that out. It's always
right.
ready. It's always ready to go.
Yeah.
When I'm doing work that's more contract work, I always have a portfolio ready to go,
Hmm.
right? Because you never know when you need it. And
Right.
if
You never
and
know.
yeah, if
It's good to
someone's
be
like,
ready.
"Oh, I'd love to," we were talking with Ella here about scripts and script writing. If you get someone's attention and they're like, "I'd love to see some of your work," that offer is like has a radioactive half-life, right? Tomorrow they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Thanks." 2 days later, it's kind of like, "Yeah, I remember you. You kind of did that." 2 weeks later, they're going to be, "Who's this? Who's this person who's sending me scripts?" Right? So really keeping the action and momentum going in the relationships. I had a student, former client that I worked with just recently, who had just started working on his. Actually, he's the guy that we're going to look at. So maybe I'll save this story. But he
Okay.
I started looking at his LinkedIn and those types of things. He had two people that he was connected with, and in just a short amount of time, he has built that up to a lot of people because he
That's
framed it
great.
differently in his head. He
Yes.
was thinking everyone that I'm connected with, I need to have a relationship. I have to have personal relationship. I will have to have seen them. It's so weird to get an invite from someone you don't know. I'm like,
Hmm.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Happens
That's
all
how
the
you
time.
network.
That's how you network. Yeah.
You just got to reach out and just go for it.
That's
I know.
right.
It
Yeah,
doesn't feel right all the time. And one thing I did want to throw out too
yeah.
is with this whole networking thing is don't forget about the alums
Oh yeah.
at your colleges.
Yeah.
That is huge. And those
Totally.
people want to help you.
Yep. Yeah, and you can usually, I mean, my last professional job was out at running alumni engagement programs for my alma mater,
Mhm.
right? And I had more alumni who wanted to work with students than I had students who wanted to work with alumni, right? It was
Yeah.
always a drag to try and get students to our events to meet and engage and get mentored by my alumni. I put out an announcement for an online mentoring portal that we had, and I had within 2 days I had over 300 alumni
Wow.
sign up for that, and in that same time I had probably like two handfuls of students.
Interesting.
Isn't that
Yeah.
interesting?
Yeah.
So you're I think you're right on the nose about the idea of reaching out alumni, but that's just one step, right?
Yeah. And it's so easy to search using LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so easy. And I know most people don't know this, but we'll take a look at the LinkedIn a little bit and
Yeah. Well, let's
um
open it up for some questions.
yes,
Because
yes.
we want this to be a dialogue, right? And we talk too much, I guess. That's what we just learned. But yeah. So Ella, you are on screen right now and you are here. Do you have any questions for us that you'd like to do? If not, I have received some questions that I can also jump into. So I just didn't want to like take questions from these faceless strangers before answering your questions. Do you have anything for us?
Um, I I feel like for the most part it's really I'm understanding everything. Feels
Yeah,
very self-explanatory and it has been very helpful so far.
cool.
Because I do find that it is like so much of it for me is like reframing it in my mind. If that made like when you said that earlier, that
Totally.
made a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I guess one thing this might be kind of a basic question, but I know we've talked a lot about like LinkedIn and also Like I'm aware, as a UCLA grad, I'm aware of like a UCLA alumni network,
Hmm.
but I was also wondering through what other channels you guys might recommend to like reach out to people or find people
I,
if there are other channels that are
yeah.
really important.
I have a couple. Des, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say you can do searches for what you're interested in. You can search on title of job. You can search on the type of company. You can do all of that on LinkedIn, and then people will come up in the search and you can start reaching out to them. So you can look at their profiles and see if they might be someone who could be a good fit for you to talk to. And you can just cold reach out and you can ask maybe for a connection. And then with that, when you connect, what they do is a little box comes up and it can say, do you want to write a note or not? And you have 200 characters to do that. So you want to make it strong, whatever the note is that you're going to say about connecting with them, or I'm really interested in learning about your job. Would you have 15 minutes for a chat? So I might be getting into the weeds on this a little bit, but that's basically how I would do that in terms of reaching out to other people. Start building your network,
Yeah.
right? And maybe other places that you've worked, reach out to them and ask for
Yep.
um, their connections and find them on LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, go
And
ahead.
I would like to share a little secret with you, Ella, right? You shared before we started our recording, you shared us with us that you're considering screenwriting, right? Um, are you a member of any screenwriting organizations?
No.
No. Okay. That's a huge other area, right? Like every
Definitely.
single job that we have. Like I even am a private educational consultant, right? There are two national organizations for IECs that churn professional development, provide educational resources, collaborative resources, conferences, information fairs, college fairs for students that are hosted by those organizations. Those are national. There are two. There's one that's just for my state, and there's one that's local. I live in Seattle, and there's a Seattle area college counselors network, right? All of those have a network that's inherent to it. The larger they get, the more opportunities, the more expensive they are, right? The larger they are. If national organizations are expensive, but they
Yeah.
know that most of the time, the people who are joining these organizations are affiliated with a studio, in your case, right? Or they're affiliated with, and who's going to pick up the cost for a $2,000 membership? Are you doing that out of your pocket, or does your office pay for your membership? Your office pays for the membership, right? So if you look in the membership areas, very often new professionals, unaffiliated member, like I don't have a studio that I'm a part of, you could still join, right? And just while Desiree was talking, because you told me you were interested in screenwriting, right? Um, the major unions and guilds, the Writers Guild of America, the Writers Guild of Canada, the Writers Guild of Great Britain, International Association of the Writers Guild, International Screenwriters Association, the ISA. I mean, this is like a simple Google search, right? And those organizations, their future, right? Their survival in the future depends on onboarding and supporting young people, right? Think of all the people who are screenwriters right now who are about to retire, right? We need to replace that pipeline, or else, the ISA is the International Screenwriters Association is going to fold in 5 years. So there's often a lot of energy in supporting and nurturing within those organizations. And sometimes it could be worth a student membership or a new professional or an unofficial. I mean, do a little research, but I think looking at organizations is also a great idea. And let me just ask you this: are you following the organizations of your field on LinkedIn?
Not yet.
Not yet, but tonight, right? Like that's a way to get into a whole network. You join their
Absolutely.
posts and those types of things, and then you'll see the people who are active in that organization, and then you open up yourself to networking, right? So I think a hidden gem that a lot of students don't realize because most of us, like Desiree, I'm sure you were a part of a recruiter, national organizations or California.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how we keep our skills fresh when we're out of school.
Hmm.
Students are oblivious to this until they join their first corporate job. But most of those national organizations have memberships for new people to onboard them and bring them in. Great networking opportunity. Um,
The other thing too, I wanted to mention, Ella, were you in the Greek system in college?
No.
You weren't.
But
Okay.
I think I know where this is going.
yeah, let's hear it,
Well, I
Des.
Is
just was
very involved in
curious
yeah.
because I know your sister is, so I wasn't sure if that was something that you did. My kids didn't do that either.
But for
Um,
our other listeners, talk about that a little bit.
but for other listeners,
Yeah,
yes, that is also they have an alumni network
no,
that is really helpful. It can be really strong and really helpful. And typically they have chapters in all the different cities and states, depending. So things like that, like just my point is things that you did in college could have alumni networks based on what it was. So think about that as well. If there's any organizations or things that you did on campus or that you were involved in any projects. I know my son has had a project that they were doing with a tech company, and so now he's been able to network with them, and they've been able to refer him. So it's kind of fit in nicely, having that college experience, which is really not really something he would have even thought about that he could do that through college through a professor.
yeah,
So
powerful.
anyway, any of those types of, the professors, and a lot of times they're not on LinkedIn, the
Yeah,
professors, but oftentimes they are. So you never
sometimes 50-50 with those professors.
know. Yeah.
That's what happens when you have a job for life, right? You have a tenured position. There's no pressure. You're
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Forget
Why do
the
I waste my
networking.
time on LinkedIn? Right? So great. Yeah, federal judges and faculty members. I don't get it. Why are those? I want a tenured position, Desiree. You and
Exactly.
I,
Yeah.
we need a
Why?
tenure.
Why is that a thing? It shouldn't be a thing.
It's archaic, actually.
It really
It's
is.
really, really old school. So, yeah, I probably anyone who listens to this who's a tenured faculty, I just really, really made them angry. But oh well, oh
That's
well.
okay.
They'll have to find this video first. Hey, I have a question from one of the people who were engaged with us today, and they just wrote it very simply. It says, "First stepping stones, one, two, three."
Oh
What
my.
what if you're just starting fresh, Desiree? What's the first things that you do? Right?
Well, you want to update that LinkedIn
There you
profile.
go. Yeah. If that's not
Get
looking
a
good.
LinkedIn profile. And
Yeah.
not only that, but fill it in.
Yeah.
Get a really cool picture in your banner, something that's interesting, that's going to make someone say, wow, I want to talk to them. They seem really cool. Get some lines of information about yourself in your headline, which is right underneath your name.
Yeah.
You literally have 4 lines of text that you can write there. Make it interesting, make it funny, add some humor. Recruiters want to talk to people that are going to be fun. Their jobs suck, they're boring, right? They're like, I want to talk to fun people that are interesting.
Yeah. That
So
is
make it
such a
interesting.
so true. So true.
It's
I
true. They're talking to people
yeah.
all day. They're searching on LinkedIn. They're looking through profiles. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's a very hard job.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's one. Get that
so,
LinkedIn going. Get that
so
LinkedIn
that's
going.
one. Get the LinkedIn going. Fill it in with accomplishments, with impacts to your
Yeah.
organization. Get that going. Um, Secondly, start connecting with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You set up a profile, you just start connecting with people. Every single human you know, if they have a LinkedIn profile, connect with them.
Yep.
And then start reaching out to people.
Yep. And I don't think
Once
you have
you have
to
your profile,
yeah.
looking good.
Yeah. Reaching out, I think is so important because actually that's the next question that I got, Desiree. It
Okay.
says, what's a strategy for cold calling? What's the script? How do I actually like put out a message Because I feel so, I'm guessing what they're thinking is because
It's
I've
really
coached
hard.
people.
I
I
know.
feel so awkward. There's a complete stranger. Why do they want to talk to me? What, you know?
That's right. And this
So
is, the generation that has been on their phones so much. It's really hard. Like you haven't really had to pick up the phone and talk to your friend's parents when you called
yeah,
to say, "Hello,
exactly. That's so true.
is Susie available? Oh, hi, Mrs. Dexter." It's like,
Exactly.
how's your day? Oh, you have to have a full conversation before you even get Susie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's old school.
That
Yeah.
is old school. There's none
Yeah.
of that. So you guys didn't get any practice. You haven't had practice.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so yes, what do you do? Well, I think that using AI can be really helpful for this because you literally say, I need to write an introduction text or message on LinkedIn when I connect with them, and I only have 200 characters to do it in.
Yeah.
What should I say? I want to introduce myself. I want to say I'm really interested um, in your company or your job or what you do or how did you get involved in this type of work
Yeah.
or and then would you be open to a 15-minute conversation so I can ask you some questions?
Yeah.
And then thank you for your time, or I look forward to hearing from you. Put your name. So, whatever you can fit into 200 characters, you can do it pretty well.
Exactly. Yeah.
But AI can really help with that, which I'm thankful for AI. There's a lot of bad and a lot of good, but there's a lot of good for the job search for sure because
Yeah.
it can be helpful um, with putting the words together for you.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be obvious that AI wrote it.
No.
Okay, that has to be kind of a secret because if these recruiters know that you used AI for your resume, for your cover letter, for your messages, you use your own words, but you can get kind of the gist of it,
Yeah.
and then
I
put it in your own voice.
yeah, I am I'm an AI user and I use it in very specific ways, but when it comes to making a human connection, AI doesn't work so well, right? And I think when you're young, you have not done as much communicating with other people, right? For example, when I got out of college and I started having to write emails every day and, communicate briefs and write reports and I thought writing was over and I was happy, right? I was happy at the end of college. I was like, I'm done with writing. That's great. I never had written so much in my entire life, right? I can't even imagine how many pages of text I've written since taking my first job. I mean, it's just an incredible amount. So, one of the things that you just naturally learn is what does a human voice sound like, right? And I think there's a lot of young people today who, rather than discerning themselves, like I have students that I work with who are like, how did you know that AI wrote that? I ran it through a humanizer. Right? I was like, well, that humanizer didn't work so well because that sounds nothing like you. Like you want to be careful. I think AI is a great place to bring in a brain dump. Hey, I have this. I want to do this. I want to do
Yeah.
this. Can you give me some suggestions on organizing this? Or how might I structure, like you said, how can I structure that into 200 words? But you really, I mean, if you're building authentic relationships, you don't need a buffer in your authentic relationship. And I worry
Absolutely.
I worry about overusing AI as a buffer. And I tell you, if you're using AI for your cover letters or your outreach or those types of things, and you're doing the spray and pray like Desiree was talking about, how many other people have AI developed from the same chat GPT?
Well, this is the
I
problem.
mean, it
This is what
sounds
the
like everyone
recruiters are
else's.
saying now.
Yeah,
And my contacts are talking about this on LinkedIn and saying
totally.
it's ridiculous now because everyone sounds the same and they're
Yeah,
not unique and they're writing the same things.
yeah,
And so, yeah, you have to get your humor in there. You have to stand out. And the other thing too is short and sweet,
yeah.
right? Like it doesn't have to be an essay. It
No,
just needs to be like a short paragraph. And this I'm talking about LinkedIn, but I kind of digressed and moved over to like the cover letter. Okay, so short little paragraph, little humor, share some accomplishments, and
Make the
end it.
connection.
Yeah, make a connection and then have a call to action,
Yeah.
you know?
And
Have a
what does a
call
call
to
to action
action.
mean? That
The
means, do
call to
you have a
action,
minute? Do you have 10 minutes to meet with me? You got to make an ask.
exactly.
These need to end with an ask.
Gotta ask because the adults, they just think, oh, nice. That's nice.
Yeah,
And
that's
then it goes
nice.
in their pile and then they forget about it and they don't think about it. But if you ask them a question and they have to think about answering, like, oh, okay, I can maybe do that. Okay, maybe next week I might be able to fit in like 15 minutes here, right? Like they're
Yeah,
thinking about it. The other thing too is follow up. Oh
totally.
my gosh. That
Yeah,
is the one thing where so many of my students, well, I sent this out 2 weeks ago and I never heard anything. Well, did you follow up?
yeah,
You'd have to follow up every week. So every 7 days, seriously, if you haven't heard from a company that you want to work at, or you haven't heard from someone that you reached out to, they will appreciate that you followed up
yeah. You get
because other
points. It doesn't,
people
you're not a
aren't doing that.
pest. Right. No one's
And
doing that.
adults appreciate that. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, shoot. I didn't get back to her. Okay. Thanks so much for reminding me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Um,
set a time for next week, right?
the last time I had a conversation with like that with a student, my student said to me, "Well, Jonathan, I don't want to seem like a try hard, right? Like I don't want it to seem like over eager." And I just had to tell him, when I'm down, like the last time I had an opening in my organization, the market was different, and I had it the bureaucracy. It took me 11 months to get a new staff member, right? I was dying for a staff member. Do you think I was offended by a tryhard who was trying to show me how badly they wanted to work? No, not
Yeah,
offended at all. Like, please.
exactly.
Yeah, show me that you do extra effort. That's great. Right?
And some of the wording that you can use is, pardon my persistence, but I'm really excited about this role. And I'd love the opportunity to interview because I have this, and this, reiterate it.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself. You're telling them this is why you need to talk to me because I'm really good at this.
Yeah,
But
I
you always want
agree.
to be sweet.
So, I wanted to we I wanted to do a challenge. Desiree does so much coaching with young people around LinkedIn, and I have a lot of students in my network, right? And so I reached out to one of my students, my former students, and was like, "Hey, could I use your LinkedIn profile as a sample in this workshop that I'm doing?" And this young guy, who just started his brand new business, he's a business major. He realized the economy of scale that can happen with window washing while he was at SDSU, San Diego State University. He's bringing it back to Washington State, where window washing is it's a different climate. It's not the same thing, but still, I mean, he learned a lot about entrepreneurialism and making these connections and really like working the network of different neighborhoods and communities and using a lot of resources like LinkedIn, like Nextdoor. He's kind of hacked the logarithm to get information. So I was like, hey, I'd love to see what he's doing. So I asked if Desiree could do a blind reading and just give me feedback on this guy's LinkedIn. So Desiree, you ready? What would you
Okay,
say?
let's
This is
do
I'm
it.
calling this the LinkedIn Minute with Des. Let's see. Let's see. Just a second.
Are you pulling it
I
up?
am pulling it up. I'm sharing. I'm
Okay.
sharing. Here we go. His name's Dakota or Cody, he goes by. Cody Nolke. There you go. Tell me what you want to scroll down. I wish you had control.
Okay.
What do you see right off the bat?
So right off the bat, now he's graduated, right?
He is not. He has one more year,
Oh,
but
he has one more year.
he is so
Okay.
into his business that he's calling it. It seems like he's calling it in,
Oh
but he's still
no.
gonna go. He's still
Oh
gonna go.
yeah,
He's gonna
but that's
finish.
good. He's going to get his degree.
Yep.
Okay, good. Um, what I would do if I was him, if he's super into the business, is I would put a banner that had his logo of his
Yeah.
business. instead of SDSU.
Yeah, he's
Because
advertising for his school.
that's not the focus, right?
Yeah.
So, and even if he wasn't starting a business, you could still have that because he still has one more year. That's fine if you want to
Yeah.
put your college. But as a graduate, you want to put something else there.
Yeah.
Once you're out, you're done. The college is done. The education goes on the bottom of the
All
resume.
the way down at the bottom.
It is not the
Right.
focus. It
Yeah.
is cool. What'd you do in college?
Yeah.
Let me see if that's, something I'm interested in talking to you about, then great. Um, so, and then I would probably get more of a smiley picture.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Come on, Cody. He's such a smiley guy, too.
yeah, it just looks a little serious and not quite as friendly
Yeah.
as he probably wants to present himself
Yeah.
as.
It actually, to me, it looks a little
Um,
smug. A little
yeah, there's
smug.
kind of a little half smile
A little half
going.
smile. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your picture, I mean, what, as a recruiter going
it's
through,
everything.
it's a lot. It's a first impression.
It's everything. We have to do this online now. We
Yeah.
used to do this in person. I interviewed people all day long in person.
Yeah.
They come to our office. I mean, it was crazy. Now everything is online.
Yeah.
So it is your first impression.
Yeah.
You want to be very welcoming.
Yeah.
And, especially as a woman, I hate that. Like, oh, you better smile. Like, we don't want to hear that.
Mm.
We hear it a lot, but it's the truth in your LinkedIn profile picture
Yeah.
because it's a first impression.
Yeah.
I don't want someone telling me I need to smile more in the office, though, because
Oh
I
my
might have to
gosh.
smack them.
Yeah. Smack those people. Actually, I want to tell a story about my LinkedIn profile. I was doing a networking LinkedIn thing, and it was in front of a whole group of people. This was like a month ago. And someone looked at my LinkedIn profile, which is right here, picture, and they said, "Is that you?"
Oh, gosh.
I was like, "Yep, that's me." Not that
It
long
looks like
ago.
you.
Yeah, it was so funny. I guess it's home office maybe maybe a little bit heavier. I don't know. Maybe glasses. I don't know. It just was a little
Oh, it could be the
embarrassing in the moment.
glasses. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
in
it
the
could be the
moment. So,
glasses.
but yeah, it projects who you are and what your profession is. Anything
It
else on
does.
Cody for the
I
LinkedIn
would
minute?
probably put under his name, he could do a lot more
Yeah.
with that headline there.
Yep. Yeah.
A lot more. He could even put his business
Hmm.
there. He could put maybe some humor. He could
Yep.
put some things that he's really into outside of school and
Yeah.
his business.
And
Put some personal stuff there that's interesting that someone
yeah.
might say, "Oh, I'm into dogs too," or whatever, right?
Yeah. And then look at this, Desiree. I wonder if you'll notice this real quick. That's his experience.
He doesn't even have his business
He
on
doesn't have
there.
his business. He just launched his new business like 2 weeks ago.
Oh
Come
my gosh.
on.
Yeah. And then as the Financial Planning Association, like what did he do as
Yeah,
secretary? What did he
right.
do as the member? Like what was the impact that he made? What
Yeah.
were his accomplishments? What was responsible
So you
for?
think even these ones are a little light? Did these feel
They're a
light to
little
you?
light.
Little light.
Yeah, but
Little
it
light.
depends. It depends on what he did, but as house manager, that's a pretty big job.
Yeah. And then you look down where how about this, Desiree? When do you for these things that are not as connected, right? He probably feels like, hey, I have done enough in business now, especially with his new job, his new business here.
Mhm.
Um, when do you stop using your waiter and busser and your high school job stuff?
When you're young, all experience is good
That's
experience.
right, sister.
So what that tells me about him is
Yeah.
he waited, he bussed, he's
Customer
worked.
service.
He gets it, right? He's
Yeah.
worked in a restaurant. That is not easy. Um, so, but he needs more information here. Like,
Yeah.
tell me about that. Was it a big restaurant? Was it a small
Yeah.
little coffee shop? Was it like, what was it?
Chip chat. Yeah.
Yeah, like you kind of want details. Like, I
Yeah.
want a feeling. I want to understand who this person is
Yeah.
because
That's
this is
so
the thing
true.
that's
Yeah.
so different now is that, people are hiring people. They want to connect with people. They want to have some sort of a friendly something where if he had like some kind of humor on there that if you could make a recruiter smile or laugh
Yeah.
in their day, that is gold.
Yeah.
Like they're going to want to talk to you.
That is not the typical recruiter experience, is feeling delighted by the people you're meeting online.
Absolutely.
No,
It's the
it's
opposite.
yeah. You get into recruiting, I feel this is really true in our conversations. You get into recruiting as a new recruiter and you think it's like it's gonna be your job to like sort through the treasure chest of gold and silver and gems to find all the diamonds. It doesn't feel like that. It's like sorting through the garbage can,
Yeah.
looking for something that's not gonna make you retch and vomit. Right?
God, I
So
don't know. That's pretty harsh.
I think
Oh,
I think that I think recruiters can be harsh. I think they can be a
yeah.
little salty.
Well, you kind of
They can
have to
also be
be.
delighted,
Yes.
right? And they
Yes.
can be
Yes.
delighted when this feels authentic, right?
Yes.
I think sometimes,
Absolutely.
yeah. I
Absolutely.
think oftentimes recruiters feel like, I mean, you tell me, Desiree, you actually have the experience. I've just been coaching people to work with them, right? But to me, it seems like recruiters often feel like I'm not getting authenticity. I'm getting a constant sales pitch, or I'm trying to get it
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
you're
And
trying to
that's
manipulate
why,
me.
that's right.
You're
And
trying to
that's why
manipulate me into giving you a job. I don't
you
even know
really want to
you.
connect.
Right.
Yeah. And you really
So,
want to share your personal experience
yeah.
and all your stuff. And see, it looks like scroll down one
Oh
more
yeah, yeah.
time. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot he could do with that sales and marketing
Totally.
job too.
Totally.
Um,
I want to see what all his other
and
interests.
then he doesn't have much under his college. He
Yeah.
probably was involved. Like the fraternity should also be under the college
Yeah.
so that there's a connection there.
Yeah.
But if there's any other thing he did, if he played frisbee, if he like whatever he did, he should have it in college because I'm sure there was other stuff he was involved in.
Yep.
Put it all on there. I mean, I was on the water ski team. I still have that on my
Because that's
LinkedIn,
awesome. That's why
which
it's
is
there.
absolutely ridiculous, right? But I don't care. That's a part of my personality. And people might be like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I love that,
Who
Desiree.
knows, right?
Well, I feel
So,
like that might be a great place to kind of wrap up for today.
okay.
We have a lot of energy around this. We have a whole lot of information to share, and I'm hoping in our future podcasts that people who have heard today will come back, get some energy,
Absolutely.
bring some questions. We really want this to be driven by the questions of the people who are struggling.
Yeah, really
You know?
interactive.
Yeah,
We're excited to share what we know, but we really want to hear from people about what their challenges are. And
yeah,
there's so many in this job market that we want to tailor these webinars to specific issues that people are dealing with
yeah.
and, where we can really help um, help
Yeah.
them navigate it.
So if you have
So,
an idea or a suggestion or a burning question, would love for you to send that to us. Leave it in the comments or reach out to us. Our bio information is probably going to be in the comment area. Um, and yeah, don't delay and come on back to In-Law Productions. In-law coaching in-laws
coaching in-laws.
coaching in laws for all of your networking and navigating needs. All right.
All
Thanks
right.
so much
And
for
thank you
coming.
so much for joining us.